What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Manin's Minute. So, I'd like to talk today about the phrase, as above, so below. You've probably heard this phrase tossed around in witchcraft and Hermeticism, occult circles, ceremonial magic, astrology, tarot, probably by that one person at a metaphysical shop who says it while holding a crystal the size of a baked potato. And look, I get it. It sounds mysterious, it sounds ancient, it sounds like something whispered into a candlelit room by someone wearing way too many rings. But what does this actually mean? Let me explain it. As above, so below is one of those phrases that sounds complicated because people love making occult concepts sound like you need 12 degrees, a velvet robe, and a secret handshake to understand them. But at its core, the idea is actually pretty simple. What happens on one level of reality reflects, connects to, or mirrors what happens on another level. The big reflects the small. The spiritual reflects the physical. The heavens reflect the earth. The inner world reflects the outer world. Get it? It's not just some spooky bumper sticker for witches. It's a way of looking at reality. Now, the phrase itself is usually connected to Hermetic philosophy, especially the Emerald Tablet, a famous piece of occult writing linked to Hermes Trismegistus. And before someone in the comments starts foaming at the mouth, yes, there are debates about the exact history, translation, date, authorship, and all the fun academic stuff. Wonderful, have a cookie. For our purposes here, we're talking about the meaning and influence of the phrase inside occult and spiritual thought. We're not doing a 3-hour lecture on manuscript history. Good goddess, just take a seat and relax. The longer idea behind the phrase is basically this. What is above is like what is below, and what is below is like what is above. In plain language, the universe is connected. The patterns found in the heavens, nature, the body, the mind, and the spirit are not isolated little boxes floating around with no relationship to each other. They echo one another. They speak the same symbolic language, just on different levels. Think about the seasons. Above us, the sun shifts through the year. The days grow longer, then shorter. The earth warms, blooms, ripens, dies back, and rests. Now look at human life. Birth, growth, maturity, decline, death, and renewal. Same pattern, different scale. The year has a life cycle. A human being has a life cycle. A plant has a life cycle. A relationship can have a life cycle. Even an idea can be born, grow strong, fade, and then come back in a different form. As above, so below. The larger pattern shows up in the smaller one. This is why astrology made sense to ancient people and still makes sense to many people today. And no, I'm not saying Mars physically grabs your steering wheel and forces you to text your ex at 2 in the morning. That's on you. What I'm saying is that astrology is based on this old idea of correspondence. The sky is not just up there doing random sky stuff while we are down here living completely separate lives. The movements of the heavens are seen as part of a larger pattern, and human life is part of that same pattern. The planets, signs, houses, and aspects become a symbolic language for reading the connection between above and below. Now, does that mean every little thing in your life is controlled by the stars? No. That's where people take a useful idea and turn it into nonsense. As above, so below does not mean you have no free will. It does not mean the moon made you buy $300 worth of candles and then blame Mercury retrograde for your overdraft fee. It means there are patterns, currents, moods, and reflections moving through existence. A wise person learns to observe them. A foolish person uses them as excuses. Big difference. This phrase also matters deeply in magic. In many forms of witchcraft and occult practice, we work with symbols, tools, elements, directions, colors, herbs, planets, gods, goddesses, spirits, and ritual actions because each thing connects to something larger. A candle is not just wax and a wick. It can represent fire, will, transformation, illumination, prayer, desire, and spirit or sacrifice depending on the working. Water can be cleansing. It can be emotional and psychic, healing and reflective, or connected to the ancestors. Salt can be purity, protection, earth, and preservation or boundary. These are not random meanings someone pulled out of a hat after too much mead. They come from observation, tradition, and symbolic connection. This is the heart of correspondence. One thing speaks to another thing. The herb, the planet, the color, the deity, the emotion, the intention, and the action all line up like little pieces of a bigger machine. When they line up properly, the working has focus, it has direction, and it has power. Not because the universe is a vending machine where you insert rosemary and receive success, but because you are creating a bridge between levels of reality. inner and outer, spiritual and physical, above and below. Let's use a simple example. Say someone is doing a spell for courage. They might use red because red is connected with strength and passion, blood, heat, and action. They might use fire because fire moves and burns and transforms and pushes forward. They may call on a deity or spirit associated with bravery. They may speak words that awaken confidence in themselves. They may stand tall, breathe deeply, and focus their mind on becoming stronger. What's happening there? The outer ritual is shaping the inner self. The inner self is reaching toward the outer world. The symbolic above is being brought into the practical below. That is magic in motion. And here's where the phrase gets even more personal. As above, so below can also mean that your inner world and your outer world reflect each other. Now, careful, I'm not saying every bad thing that happens to you is your fault because you manifested it. I hate when people take spiritual ideas and turn them into victim-blaming garbage. Sometimes life is unfair. Sometimes people are cruel. Sometimes the world throws bricks at your head for no good reason. That's reality, and pretending otherwise is spiritual laziness dressed up in fancy language. But with that said, your inner world does affect how you move through life. If your mind is full of chaos and fear and resentment and confusion, that tends to leak into your actions, your relationships, and your decisions, and your environment. If you're centered and you're aware and disciplined and honest with yourself, that also shows up around you. The inside and outside talk to each other. Your altar can reflect your spiritual state. Your home can reflect your mental state. Your habits can reflect your values, and your words can reflect your wounds. Ouch, right? But true. This is why spiritual work is not just about lighting candles and saying pretty words. It's also about looking in the mirror and dealing with your own nonsense. And yes, we all have nonsense. Every single one of us. The priestess, the magician, the witch, the skeptic, the YouTube commenter who thinks they know everything because they read one blog post in 2007. Everyone. The microcosm matters. The little world inside you matters because it is connected to the larger world you participate in. The phrase also points to the relationship between humanity and the divine. Many occult traditions teach that humans are not separate from the sacred. We're not dirt creatures crawling around while divinity sits far away in some unreachable cosmic office. The divine spark, the spirit, the soul, the witch fire, whatever language you want to use, exists within us all. The universe is not only outside of you, it's also within you. The stars are out there, yes, but the pattern of the stars is also reflected in the human soul. That is a powerful idea. This is why some traditions call the human being a microcosm, meaning a small version of the larger cosmos. Your body has rhythms. Your breath moves like the tides. Your heart beats like a drum. Your mind creates worlds. Your dreams open doors. Your emotions rise and fall like weather. You're not separate from nature. You are nature. You're not separate from the cosmos. You're part of it. As above, so below does not put humans above nature or outside of it. It places us inside the grand pattern. And this is where the phrase can become a little dangerous if people get lazy with it, because some people hear everything is connected and then jump straight into making ridiculous claims. This leaf fell on Tuesday, therefore my neighbor's cursed by Saturn and must sacrifice a blueberry muffin to Jupiter. Okay, now listen. Connection does not mean every random thing has deep cosmic meaning. Sometimes a leaf is just a leaf. Sometimes your candle goes out because there's a draft. Sometimes your dream about your teeth falling out happened because you ate nachos at midnight and slept like a goblin. Discernment matters. Pattern recognition is powerful, but paranoia is not wisdom. The occultist has to learn the difference between a real correspondence and just making stuff up because it feels dramatic. This is where study and practice and tradition and experience come in. You learn over time what holds weight and what is just your brain trying to turn every coffee spill into a prophecy. Magic needs imagination, yes, but it also needs grounding. So what can as above, so below teach us in everyday life? It teaches us to pay attention. Look at the patterns. Look at nature. Look at your habits. Look at the cycles repeating in your life. Look at what your outer world might be showing you about your inner world. Look at how your spiritual beliefs actually show up in your actions. Because if you say you honor the gods, the earth, the ancestors, or the craft, but your daily life is a complete dumpster fire of dishonesty, laziness, and ego, there's a disconnect. The above and below are not aligned. That alignment is the key. The phrase is not just a cool occult saying, it's a challenge. Are your thoughts, words, actions, rituals, and values connected? Are you living in a way that reflects what you claim to believe? Are you bringing the sacred down into ordinary life, or are you keeping it locked away for full moons and Instagram pictures? Because real magic is not just what happens in the circle. It's what happens after the circle's opened and you have to go deal with the people and bills and work and family and grief and joy and all that messy human stuff. As above, so below means the sacred and the mundane are not enemies. They're mirrors. The heavens and earth speak to each other. The soul and the body belong to the same mystery. Ritual and daily life should not be strangers. The witch who understands this does not just look upward for meaning and does not just stare downward at the dirt either. They learn to see both. They learn to stand in the middle, between worlds, paying attention. So the next time you hear someone say, as above, so below, don't just nod like it's some fancy occult catchphrase. Think about what it really means. The pattern above you may be reflected within you. The work inside you may change what happens around you. The symbols you use in ritual may connect your small human life to something much larger. And that, my friends, is where this phrase gets its power. Not because it sounds mystical, not because it looks good on a t-shirt, but because it reminds us that nothing exists in total isolation. The cosmos, the earth, the spirit, the body, the altar, the mind, the spell, the season, the star, and the breath, all of it is part of the same great conversation. As above, so below. Simple words, deep roots, and once you really get it, you start seeing the pattern everywhere.